Welcome to another episode of Undercard Heroes. My name is Francisco.
And I'm Heather.
And this fight card, tons of heavy favorites, massive underdogs. This one is Roman Dolidze versus Fluffy Hernandez. And we'll get into all of those underdog bets that we got.
Some intimidating names we got here. Let's start your first pick.
So this is an interesting fight card. There's a ton of heavy favorites in this one. And so I decided it'd be fun for this one to just swing for the fences on these picks. And so first fight I want to talk about Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. And Elijah Smith is a heavy favorite in this one. This is the second UFC fight for both of these fighters, both of them coming off of a win. But Elijah Smith just has, wrestling base, great striking, and I could easily see him knocking out Kazama in this fight. But I'm going to go Kazama to win by submission. Kazama's got 6 submission wins on his resume. His first UFC win was by submission, and I think if he can get this to the ground early on, he can lock in a submission. Maybe if he can capitalize on the scrambles. I think he doesn't have very strong takedown defense. I don't think he's going to be able to get Smith to the ground, especially with his wrestling base. But if he can work well in the scrambles, I can see Kazama pulling out a submission win here, maybe in the first or second round. But it's going to be tough. Elijah Smith, like I said, fantastic striker. Kazama, on the other hand, very poor defense, striking defense. Doesn't have great takedowns. And, Elijah Smith, with that wrestling background, has some fantastic takedowns. So this is going to be a really tough one for Kazama. But at plus 1,200, I'm going to go Kazama to win by submission.
Well, that'll be exciting to see. Okay, are you swinging for the fences again?
Yes. So for this next pick, I want to talk about Priscila Cachoeira versus Jocelyn Edwards. Now, Jocelyn Edwards, again, heavy favorite to win this fight. And I can see why. She's coming off of KO win from Chelsea Chandler. She is the much more technical striker here. She's probably, she's really gonna work in range. She's gonna try and piece up Priscila Cachoeira, and I can see her getting a decision win in this one. But Priscila Cachoeira, she has KO power. She's got 4 KO wins, and she is a lot more reckless in the striking. She really doesn't defend herself that well, so she's definitely going to eat shots from Jocelyn Edwards. But she's going to really, I'm swinging for the fences in these bets. Priscila Cachoeira is going to be swinging for the fences in this fight, and I'm betting on her to win this by a KO. That's plus 800 for Priscila Cachoeira to win by KO TKO. And I think that, it is possible that she could get lucky, land a good shot early in the first round, maybe even in the second round, hurt Jocelyn Edwards, and then capitalize and get another KO win here.
Love seeing those reckless fighters. That'll be really fun. Tell us about your final pick.
Okay, this is the fight that everybody wants to see this weekend. If you're watching the fights this weekend, you're really only watching it for this one, and it's Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Roman Dolidze. And you know what? I went to a card store this past weekend, and I want to get into getting UFC trading cards, and I found this one rookie card of Fluffy Hernandez. Great find, and I'm going with him this weekend. He is, the favorite to win this fight, and I think for good reason too. Fluffy Hernandez, I think that he is going to be a huge name in this division. I think he's really starting to come into himself here, and I think he's going to be a real problem in this division. And there's 2 fights in particular that I look at as really his standout performances, and that was his fight against Rodolfo Vieira. Rodolfo Vieira, massive fighter in this division, and he was heavily favored to win against Fluffy Hernandez, and just came in, pressured him, implemented his ground game, got the takedowns, got him on the ground. It really looked like, he was going to just pile drive through this guy. But, Hernandez was able to really turn it around, even threaten his own submissions in that first round, which was a huge surprise to see how good he was on the ground, how composed he was to be able to withstand the pressure that Rodolfo Vieira was applying, and then turn it around on him, come back the second round, apply, even more pressure, and then get him out of there by submission. It was a fantastic fight. It really showed his determination, his grit, and his ground game. And then, second fight that really did it for me was the fight against Roman Kopylov. Roman Kopylov, in my opinion, much better striker than Fluffy Hernandez. Fluffy Hernandez striking really is just to set up his ground game. And he took some shots from Roman Kopylov, but, he landed his own shots, set up his takedowns, got under the ground, and ultimately submitted him. And so I think that Fluffy Hernandez wins this fight, and I think that, we start to see more of him in this division.
So is there any way that Roman Dolidze could win this one?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Roman Dolidze, he's got, some quality wins in his belt too. He KO'd Kevin Holland, which, Kevin Holland can be a little bit streaky of a fighter, and then he's also got the win, more recently over Marvin Vettori. So Roman Dolidze, he's also going to apply pressure here. I think that's gonna be his kind of, approach to winning this fight, is really applying pressure, trying to get a finish here in this one. But I just think that the pressure that Fluffy Hernandez is going to be able to apply is just going to outlast Roman Dolidze. I think that the age difference may show itself here. I think maybe, going into the later rounds, Fluffy Hernandez just will have to show the better cardio and ultimately be able to get the win over Roman Dolidze.
Sounds like a really good main card.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Undercard Heroes.
So what do you think about Francisco's picks? Is there anything we missed? Do you disagree with anything? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks, everyone.